Hi, this is Mike at Triple Water Astrology. My subject for this podcast is the Vertex in Synastry. A lot of people are enthusiastic about Synastry. A lot of people who are into astrology and like astrology like Synastry. It compares two natal charts, and I'm going to focus only on the vertex and planets and points that meet the vertex. In other words, one person's vertex or anti-vertex is conjunct another person's planet or angle. The vertex generally I use a 1 degree orb, or at most 2 with the vertex. In some cases you can stretch it, but a strict orb is useful. And then I always suggest only using conjunction or opposition. So you actually will have, if a planet or point in one person's natal chart is opposite your vertex, it's actually conjunct the anti-vertex. And there's all kinds of information about fine-tuning and dicing what the vertex means. So I'm gonna go straight to just talking about it. And if you want to see a video where I talk more about the vertex, I'd love to make one. So let me know in the comments. The vertex has a very sudden connotation to it. So it's referred to as the electrical axis, and in my view associated with Uranus. But it's its own point, it's its own axis. The suddenness about it is the key. So when someone's planet or angle perhaps is conjunct or opposite your vertex, it can symbolize them very quickly entering your life and then just as quickly leaving. But it's quite possible that in romantic synastry you'll find someone who has a vertex or anti-vertex conjunct one of your planets, and that's one of the things you like about the relationship. So you would be together or have been together for a long time. Also note that one person's vertex and the other person's vertex may both be active, or they could both be inactive. It's actually somewhat unusual. It's not rare, but it's a little bit unusual to find an active vertex in synastry, especially both charts having an active vertex or anti-vertex. But I've seen it, especially just one person's vertex may be active, and indeed I've seen some cases, not a lot, of both the vertex points being active. So that gives you an idea of how complicated all of this is. So I wanted to delineate what each planet and some points and some objects mean when one person's vertex conjuncts or opposes the other's planet. So these are just keywords or phrases to get us started, but it's very insightful. So if someone's sun is conjunct or opposite another person's vertex, they're meant to bring purpose and creativity into your life. That's a very powerful connection in synastry, sun vertex. If someone's vertex is conjunct another person's moon or opposite, they're meant to bring an emotional type of element into your life, and maybe some intuition that you can find useful. If Mercury is conjunct vertex or opposite vertex among the charts, that's bringing someone to talk to and solve problems with into your life. If Venus is involved with vertex, a person to collaborate with is suddenly entering your life or meant to be in your life, might be fated to be in your life. Now notice Sun is powerful and Venus is also powerful, and it's a nice synastry aspect with the vertex because Venus is the minor benefic, and Venus is oriented towards relationships. Mars vertex in synastry, you could find that you're competitive. This person is making you competitive, which ideally would be meant to improve some aspect about yourself. So that said, I think it might be tougher, especially a lot tougher than the Venus vertex, but it keeps you on your toes for sure. You may also enjoy going on activities together or being on a team with that person and competing. So there's plenty of ways to use Mars Vertex. Jupiter Vertex in Synastry, that can bring a benefactor into your life. And that's, Jupiter is the major benefic, so that can be quite nice in Synastry. And note with all of these planets, Sun, Moon, and so on, one person's Sun could be conjunct the other person's vertex and vice versa. So that would be kind of an extraordinary case of Synastry. Saturn Vertex, Saturn can be tougher. That brings an authority figure into your life, or potentially does, but it can also be someone who provides foundations and stability in your life, so that can be productive. Saturn Vertex would be very good for a person's career, if you're the Vertex person especially. Vertex and Uranus and Synastry among charts brings a sporadic person, but they can be potentially disruptive. We're getting past Saturn with Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, so the Transaturnians can be definitely difficult to handle in Synastry. Neptune Vertex among charts in the Synastry, that can bring a spiritual person into your life, and they might be meant to help you develop your spirituality, but beware the more difficult side of Neptune. So that could be a symbol of very strong disillusionment at some point in the relationship. Pluto Vertex in the Synastry, that's someone who brings a different perspective into your life perhaps, or definitely it could be someone that's meant to change you, someone that helps you develop power, but that can also be quite tough, and a lot of that depends on how you handle Pluto or one of the other Trans-Saturnians, Uranus and Neptune. North Node Vertex is quite powerful. That can symbolize someone who's destined to help you reach your fate. Someone along for the ride as you're actuating your kismet in your current life. So you'll notice North Node and South Node form a karmic axis, and then Vertex is referred to as the electrical axis. So indeed, that could be a very karmic type relationship. I wouldn't just make a blanket statement about that, but if other items in the Synastry supported it, that could definitely be a potent theme in Synastry among two people. South Node is keenly interesting as well. The North and South Node have some of the same connotations, in other words, karma, when they're aligned with another person's vertex. South Node has more of a focus on someone entering your life who has a past connection. And if that's not the case, if you don't dig past lives, or indeed that may not be the case, then it could be someone who helps you understand your past and your roots. With Vertex aligning with someone else's angles in Synastry, that's powerful as well. If it's with the ascendant, they're in your life to affect your outer projection in the world. If Vertex is conjunct the other person's midheaven, they're there to influence, possibly assist with your career. If someone's vertex is conjunct your IC, your inner functioning, or your Imam Coeli angle, they're there perhaps quite possibly to assist with your inner development. And again, that's probably the strongest connection in Synastry when you consider the angles that have to do with a past life theme. And then the last angle, the descendant, I think that's actually the strongest because the descendant is concerned with relationships. So that person with the vertex and the other person having the descendant and they're conjunct, that is just simply a strong indicator of someone fated to be with you. So I wouldn't let that decide if someone has a relationship, but it's a strong indicator of whether you're meant to be together. And ultimately, of course, the choice is always yours. Other objects may also be considered, and actually, I do consider these. And I believe I've seen Juno conjunct Vertex or anti-Vertex. So Juno is an asteroid lady. She's relatedness, and she has a quite complex symbolism. She's very important in synastry, and she's not just about marriage. But you could think of Juno as a strong indicator of marriage. And if I see Juno vertex, that is a strong indicator of two people who perhaps would ultimately consider marriage and be married. Hades, trans-Neptunian Hades, is also significant. So Hades vertex is showing us that there can be other ways to intuit past life themes in a chart. And if I see Hades conjunct someone's vertex, that's a powerful indicator of someone whose past life, who has had or perhaps has had past lives with the other person. So with the vertex, it's a very sudden kind of influence. So I would look for vertex if you say suddenly one day, wow, this person showed up like a bolt from the blue. That would indicate to me that I would suspect, and I would look for vertex contacts in the synastry. So another thing to bear in mind, it could be that a person, when one of their planets or angles is conjunct your vertex, they're only meant to be with you for a certain amount of time, and it could be quite short. So it would be tough if you kind of got your heart set on someone and they were a vertex event and they suddenly entered your life for some reason, and when they did what they were supposed to do, they suddenly left, and that's quite possible. So it just depends. The other thing I wanted to mention with the vertex tends to have a stronger effect, and is more the idea of someone entering your life when they have a planet conjunct vertex. And then the anti-vertex, which obviously is perfectly opposite your vertex, the anti-vertex has more of a connotation of leaving, someone leaving, and also it can have less of an effect. But all of this really depends. So you have to look at vertex in the context of the entire synastry, and also consider the vast amount of possibilities even when you're able to isolate and observe a planet or angle conjunct the vertex. I highly suggest looking at vertex and synastry. Let me know what you think about the vertex and synastry in the comments. If you haven't liked my video, please do so, and also please subscribe to my channel.